He's whiny.
Yeah, like he sounds like such a bitch.
Lucas.
Hello, greetings, welcome.
Welcome.
Dude, you know what we should do? You know what we should start off with? We should do an impromptu Israeli-Palestinian debate.
Absolutely.
Which side do you want to do?
I don't want to do either side. I don't give a shit at all.
Neither do I, but that's why we have to do this.
I'm so sick of both of them. And here's my take. It's probably really bad. I don't know if it's a good take or a bad take. Depending on your political preference, people might be like, oh, that's a great take. I just say, just give Israel enough nukes to just end it all forever, so I never have to hear about it again. Does that work? Can you just glass Palestine so I don't have to hear about them?
I think that's
we can glass both of them.
Because there was a period there where a lot of this emotional rhetoric and propaganda basically was like, oh, like this side is monsters, they're evil, and like we've been doing that for a really long time now, and it sort of like doesn't work anymore, you know? Like,
yeah. Literally both sides
we did so much
monstrous.
of this like blank slatism, we're all the same, like like no human is bad rhetoric, that like this idea of like all those same people coming out and telling me like, oh, this group is like evil like, you know, it's just hard. It's hard to buy. It's very disingenuous sounding. Like, and now I think that what you have to do is you have to convince me that like one side is like funnier or like quirkier than the other, right?
A little more quirked up.
Yeah.
If we're going pure,
does the IDF have like a better TikTok than like Hamas? Like,
well, IDF goes pure thirst trap TikTok, which isn't funny. That's
true. It's not. That's like grotesque millennial content.
Yeah, they just go with hot girls and they use propaganda that way. So I think, and also they have the boomers on their side. I kind of think if we're going pure comedy value, Hamas is probably better. I don't know. I haven't seen their TikToks.
What's the funniest thing Hamas has ever done?
I can't even. Actually, wait.
I know that's the thing. I'm really fucking you over with that question.
I don't know. Yeah, so I'm gonna say Hamas in that capacity. If we're going pure, yeah, I think, yeah, there you go. You know, actually, the most audible, like tolerable thing I could say that was funny is that they got like a bunch of everyone in America who's gay to support them. I think that's very funny. That's just like on like a
yeah, and we have like a fucking like Mia Khalifa coming out, dude. That was so fucking funny. Mia Khalifa getting fired by like her boss, Mr. Shapiro, because she randomly started tweeting out like the world's most pro-Palestinian content. Dude, this is the one thing that I have to say, man. I have to say, I haven't really been taking sides on this issue on Twitter, right? Like I haven't been saying, because I don't really give a fuck. But the one thing is, anytime I say something that's like kind of a shot at Israel, the pro-Palestinian side is so fucking retarded that they come and interpret it as actually being pro-Israel, and then they get mad at me. And it's making like that is pushing me more towards pro-Israeli sentiment than anything else. It's just realizing that like the pro-Palestine side is so fucking retarded that every time, like I made a post basically suggesting that Israel has like enormous incentive to like lie about the Hamas incursion to like justify war crimes, right? And then people, oh my God, this is Israeli propaganda. And it's like, no, like I'm saying that they're incentivized to justify war crimes. Like, and it's just, then I had another post where I said something along the lines of like it was the thing about what's her name, Mia Khalifa, where I said like, oh yeah, like she really, like I thought she was fucking around when she said like, I don't know how this works, but then she came out and she actually, while being employed by Mr. Shapiro, went out.
She works for Ben Shapiro. She works for Ben Shapiro.
Not Ben Shapiro. It was some other Shapiro, but it's like, you know, they're all
yeah.
So knowing that this is who she's employed by, she comes out and starts tweeting a bunch of stuff about how like the Israelis are dogs and all of this stuff. And then the guy like publicly fires her like in a
That's so
quote
funny.
tweet.
That's so
And I was like,
fucking
holy
funny.
shit, like they actually don't know. Like they're not bluffing. They don't get how it works. It's like when all those libs say like, oh, like you're just afraid of black people, right? And then they like literally approach the like schizophrenic homeless drug addict with like a knife out, and they think like, I'm unafraid of this guy, and then like they actually just get stabbed. Like they're not bluffing. They're literally not afraid of these people.
Hey, you know, there's a naivete that's almost admirable. A willfully blind idealism. You gotta appreciate that those people exist. I don't know if Mia Khalifa is like, you know, the archetype of this.
I think the thing with Mia Khalifa is she's just like a
idiot, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think she's
just
just such a huge retard. Like at a certain level of being a girl, being given a bunch of money, being given like a big platform, and having like a bunch of guys say they want to have sex with you. Like I think you just like stop believing in rules at a certain point, right? So like everyone is saying like it's crazy. Like she's coming out and saying like, oh my god, like I'm in support of this country and this regime that would behead me for being a whore. Like I don't think she like understands that. Like she's been getting such insane death threats for the last decade of her life, and yet no one's killed her. Like I think she just assumes that it's all a joke, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because like that, I mean, that's what I like. If I had
death
10 straight years of people fucking death threatening me, and then I was still alive, I would be like, you know, this is all kind of losing its bite, right? I'm not really that. I don't take you that seriously anymore.
Yeah,
like somebody's actually got to kill me, dude.
Yeah, like I imagine, the disassociation between the consequences and the politics is absolutely gone. So she'd just be like, oh yeah, they're kind of just mad about it, but they're not going to do anything, so it's fine. I can support my quote unquote my people.
Yeah, like it's like when somebody quote tweets you and says like, "I'm going to kill you, dude." Like I never like think like I should go to the police. Like my life is in danger, right?
Yeah,
but like at some point it will actually be in danger, right? Like there is one of those guys.
Yep. Hopefully none of them listen to the podcast, but ideally, well, for somebody else, maybe. Well, yeah, no, this is so cringe. I'm so glad all the weekends for me to have a festival and I don't have to look at Twitter that I picked Israel-Palestine conflict. It's actually probably the biggest blessing of all time.
It's so bad. Like this is probably
like I hate everyone's opinion except for the people who are like, I'm not getting involved with this. Everyone else, I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Shut up.
This is literally just the most boring issue in the entire world, right?
And I'm not, and they're so, I don't care about any of them. Like I can't even pretend to care about Israel. I can't pretend to care about Palestine. You cannot make me care.
Dude, people, I don't know if you've seen this. People have been replying to me with like big essays, trying to get me to like turbo buy in to one side or the other, being like, well, like it's going to like materially impact your life because like the Israelis are like importing like the Palestinians because of this, and they're going to like send them to the white countries. And you're gonna add, like all, and I'm like, dude, like
there's more people in the fucking frat houses here than Palestine. I don't give a there's not that many of them, bro.
Yeah, like it's you know, again, like it's like, oh, you're gonna import like 10,000 Palestinians. Like how many fucking Mexicans come in through the border every day at this point? Like it's just
none of this kit matters to me. We're like the only thing that I even remotely feel associated with is the fact that they send all the money to Israel instead of, you know, and like our gas prices go higher. Although actually our gas prices went down. I was noticing that this weekend. I was kind of laughing. I was like, hey, shout out to Biden playing the long game. Just won a few international wars, fund both the Hamas and Israel so that they can he funded Ukraine and they gave weapons to Hamas and he funded Israel. And now our gas prices are down. A little conflict in the Middle East is all we really needed. So that's good. At least gas is down.
Yeah, gas prices are down, but so is fucking every other risk asset, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. I'm broke, but
I know literally I lost. I think everything is just down like 10% across the board today. Really rough. But this is the nice thing is it's all like equities and like boomer shit. So it's like, you know, you have a bad day in stocks and it's like, oh, -7%. Like you have a bad day in crypto and it's like, oh my God, like
everything's gone.
-98%. Like
it's all gone.
Yeah,
no. Yeah, this is all cringe. Fortunately, I am risk off because can't really risk zero. Can't risk zero. So I'm just waiting until things are back and I can stop having to dodge these stupid political takes. You're all idiots. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They both suck. It's okay not to care. That's the moral of the
this is
story.
the thing that's a little bit weird to me is like I think now we're starting to get to the point where people realize how easily manipulable all of this shit is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you gave me 3 iPhones and a team of my like 10 best friends and like a Palestinian or Israeli backdrop, I could probably do a very significant amount of damage to the sentiment on either side, right?
Absolutely. And
Like,
also, it's so many people like. I guess also now that there's so much there's so much like fake news and memes and stuff. I'm seeing more people notice that like, oh, a lot of this is like explicit propaganda, and
right, like
I
this
guess
is
also
like
'cause of
actually
Ukraine.
like either footage from like 2007 that's being reused, or
Mhm.
it's like, oh, this is literally just like knowingly like paid for shilling, right?
Yeah, and I guess fortunately because of the Ukraine stuff, people got a little bit more apt to it. But even still, the average person is not like keeping up with like making sure that they're the wits on the cutting edge of their wits for propaganda. So it's still inescapable. And I
Yeah.
was
No, I think the ideal is everybody realizing that the shit is fake, uh, to the extent that like it forces you to not care, right? Because like, like at a
yeah,
certain point, it's like how invested can you be in something that you literally don't understand at all, right? Like anyone right now who's asserting that they genuinely understand what the situation is, uh, you're either like the daughter of like the CIA director or you're
mhm.
just like deranged.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, ultimately, I mean, this is at the same time, it's also the same thing that's been going on for forever. It's like it's Crips and Bloods, as I said in the tweet that got like 10 likes like 2 years ago. But I think it's still very accurate. This is like the Crips and the Bloods. They're killing each other, and they don't even know why they're fighting anymore. They just remember their
Right,
friend got
it's
capped in
tradition,
front of
right?
them. It's
We kill
tradition.
them out of tradition. They kill
You
us out
killed
of
my
tradition. We will
exactly.
all we will do this every year out of tradition. It's like Christmas, and it's something like it's a part of nature. We'll
Yeah,
just
and then
keep going.
also it's like, and we keep funding them because we want a military outpost in the Middle East, and that's not none of that's changing in the anytime soon, probably ever, unless Israel just gets enough propagandized support to just nuke the entire Gaza
Right,
Strip. I
dude. And
guess.
like I keep seeing all of these like hilarious fucking takes from people like well, like Israel should just give the land back, dude. And it's like they haven't given the land back for the last like 70 years, dude. I don't think they're gonna do it. Like it's like what's even the point of saying that? Like it's just such a retarded thing. Like, well, it would be really cool if they just gave the land back. Like,
But
okay,
yeah, it's
man.
not
Like
happening, bro. They don't give a fuck. They do not care at all. If you're in the situation where you can just like make a country come out of nowhere, it was like 1940 something, or maybe it was the 60s. It was somewhere in there. It was like post World War II shit.
yeah, nobody fucking even knows. I have no idea. I tweeted today basically saying like I have no idea what's going on with this shit. Like it's just like this is like geopolitical edging. It just needs to fucking be done with. Like somebody
Mhm.
needs to just man up and finish it.
Finish the
Uh
job. Finish the fight. It's like
yeah, this has been
Halo.
going on for 70 years, bro. And then somebody responded saying like 70 years. And I was like, listen, man, I told you I have no fucking idea what's going
I don't
on.
fucking
And he
know.
linked me like a history of the conflict that
Don't
started in
care.
like
Not reading that.
150 AD or something. And I was like, whoa,
150
wow.
AD. All right, shut up. It's not that far. It's not that deep. I don't care I don't even know what that article says, but it's wrong. 150 AD. I'm not hearing it.
150 AD.
Not hearing it at all. That sounds like what are you going back to the fucking Crusades?
Oh yeah.
No, that's not even the Crusades. It's before the Crusades. Shut the fuck up. That's wrong. Oh no. All right. So here's what my take is. It goes back to maybe the 50s, somewhere in there. Because the people who the people who were involved in the Crusades is not the same conflict. That's like saying like the conflict between who's a similar case. It's like I don't know. It's so far. Oh, I know. Here's a better example. It's like if Britain gets in a war with like any country on the planet, are you going to be like, oh, this goes back to colonialism in 1500s? No, it's the modern UK is different than the British Empire, right? It's just like the same. It's just like it's like watching the 25th season of a show and the prequel of a show and being like, it's the same thing. It's not. They're different. They're just different casts. It's completely different. So this is a completely different issue. This is related to when they created the country of Israel, and on top of land that was not claimed. That's not the same as the Crusades, fucker, or even before that, or whatever the fuck people were talking about. But also, I could be wrong because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I don't really care. So that's how
I know that's where I'm at, man. Like not only do I not know any history at a base level, but like I specifically know no history from anywhere that is more than 1,000 miles away from me, right? So
I think that's good. In fact, I think we should stop pretending to know history of places that far away, because it's not like you're told the real history. You're being told a story about people who won conflicts.
This was always my take, even as like a 4-year-old kid. And like, you know, it always was one of those like militant atheist tier, like eye roll inducing takes to everybody who ever heard me give it. But I think now basically everybody's coming around to it being true. They still think that it's like a militant atheist, like cringe inducing take, but like it's just all like patently fake, right? Like we're literally seeing Ian Miles Chong rewrite his own narrative of history using like doctored Twitter videos in real time. Like if this fat retard can do that this successfully, then like you really think that the rest of this is real? Like there's no fucking chance, man.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, like not only do they have like this is just a guy with a following, right? Posting whatever tweets.
He's literally the most untrustworthy fat retard in history, right? Like if I were to give you a list of untrustworthy fat retards, like
he's at the top.
I think there's not a single person in the entire world who, you know, like it's literally
we're in that Weinstein guy who was casting couching girls, but even he paid back his deal and like got them famous. So he might be.
Well, he was like honest about what he was doing.
He's like,
Ian honestly like just fucking like literally nobody on either side trusts this guy, man.
Yeah, he's a snake.
Literally
also,
just
physiognomy check
like
is not passed.
That fucking mouth, dude. It just
that mouth is disgusting. It looks like a pug. It's like 10 generations.
I almost want to say we should flash it up on the screen for our viewers, our listeners, whatever, while we're doing this. But I just think that would be rude.
It's very detestable
like it'd be
face.
Fucked up.
And you can't trust someone with a face like that.
No, you can't.
Because clearly, yeah, like he doesn't care enough about his mouth to fix that. And you think he's gonna like, what are you gonna contribute to society? Get your life together. You got a big problem right in your face, and you're not even handling that.
God, it's so bizarre, man.
But yeah, he's a fuckboy. But anyway, so effectively, if you have like the entirety of like a government and the media apparatus at your disposal, and I'm supposed to believe any of that shit is real, no, you got me fucked up. You got me. Anime's realer than that.
Well, especially if like one of the sides involved is Israel, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're the best PR team in the world.
Exactly.
Every PR company is one of the on the home team.
Hamas is gonna figure out like viral marketing at some point. I'm not gonna fucking bet on it. Although like if they want to hire me, right? Like I am again like totally gun for hire here. I will get all of my friends out in the park. We will LARP as raped Palestinians any day of the week, man.
Bro,
I will put on a fucking wig.
What if
I will wear the pants with blood running down the crotch? Like I will be so raped. Nobody will ever be more of a raped girl than me on this video if you're willing to pay me the right amount of money. But
I like the timeline where the Vers and Lukas podcast blows up for helping Hamas with their propaganda campaign.
Yeah. Well, I think it would be funny. I think it would be funny actually to create like a Scooby-Doo narrative where it's like both sides are hiring us and like gradually people are realizing like, hey, wait, like it's these same fucking retards in all the videos. Like, how are they Israeli and Palestinian? Wait, that one guy's black, dude. This doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, mulattoes are like spiritually Jewish. So like I'm like, I'll just be on Team Palestine just because we have brown thing in common. You could be the Jew because apparently you went on birthright, so you're already a compromised asset.
Yeah, dude, I've just been Jew posting like crazy, and now everybody is like, I've always known that Lucas was a Jew who visited Israel. And like, it's like all of this stuff is like totally made up, dude. Like,
how did you get that screenshot? Was that actually sent to you?
No.
That's funny. That I was like, I was really hoping that actually was sent to you. I was like, oh, that's amazing.
I didn't want to like ruin it for everyone, but yeah, I guess so. So for our viewers who don't religiously check my Twitter feed, when this all broke out, and there were a bunch of like questionably fake videos floating around, I faked a screenshot from the Israeli Defense Force to me saying like, "Shalom, Lucas. We're glad to have you in Israel for Birthright last month. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Have you seen what's been going on with the situation recently? I was wondering if you could help get some eyes on this or something like that." And then like linked like an IDF like propaganda tweet or something, and I reposted the screenshot saying like, "Finally accepted my first big partnership," with like a bunch of the celebration emojis. And
that was a great bit.
Yeah, and then I think I think that's what led, I guess, a lot of people to think that everything that I said was like pro-Israel, even though it like wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, "Oh, he's being paid by the IDF." The fact that the substance of his tweets are actually like accusing Israel of like running the media complex is totally irrelevant. It must somehow be good for Israel because they're paying him to do this, right?
It's layers upon layers. It was Lucas the whole time, dude.
It was all Lucas, all of geopolitics, right?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, this is the dumbest conflict of all time. Somehow this is worse than Ukraine.
Dude, I think we had a podcast episode before where we were talking about just like our absolute fatigue with discussion of the abortion issue.
Yeah, this is even worse than that.
This is somehow even fucking worse. Like the abortion shit, I never heard about the abortion shit until like post puberty, right?
But
like,
here's with abortion, you're at least like directly affected in some capacity because you might.
Yeah, like I at least have the ability to like think like there's some hypothetical where someone I know might be like directly impacted, right? With Israeli-Palestine, it's like not only have I been hearing about this since I was literally 4 years old, man. Like this is not like this wasn't a subject that was like guarded from me until after I hit puberty. I have been hearing about this since I fucking rolled out of the womb. But I don't even like I couldn't name where either of these fucking places are on a map. Like to this day, if you gave me a global map and said where is Israel, I have no fucking clue where Israel is, man.
Honestly, if you got rid of the lines for each country, I might not know either.
Exactly.
I maybe could figure it out.
Maybe after the last day or two of everybody reposting that meme about how like Israel has expanded into like Palestine or something, I would be able to identify it from like the outline or something. And I know that there's like water on the left side, but it's like, again, like I'm saying the left
water on the
side.
left side.
Like, I don't even know if it's the east or the west side. It's the fucking left side, right?
That's the only hint I have, is that there's water on the left. But I could very easily accidentally pick Italy, like low-key, or whatever the fuck, one of those, Serbia or some shit.
Yeah.
So you know what? Fuck them.
Yeah, and dude, like I have people in my comments saying like, "Oh, you only have this take because you're like friends with the Bronze Age pervert," and I'm like, this isn't even a take. Like,
there's no take. I don't care.
There's no take. Like I haven't talked to BAP in like a fucking like. What's going on, man? What is going on? I'm getting like, people's understanding of like how others are exposed to incentive structures and like develop opinions on their own is so fucking bizarre to me, man. Like, you know when you first get introduced to dissident politics and everybody's doing this thing where they're like, oh, well, like this group controls it, and they have like a very like it's a very formulaic laid out view of like how it happens, when in actuality it's very clear that like basically everything is a bunch of self-aligning incentive structures. Mm-hmm. Like there's no like the Bronze Age pervert sending out like a telegram notice to all of his subordinates that like today we're going to be dying for Israel, right? Like
yeah. No, it's just people online, and we just happen to align. That's it. It's not really like he's not in charge of anything. He's not a group leader.
Well, and I mean, frankly, like I'm going to be honest here. This isn't something I like to say. It's sort of a like this exposes the gayness of the whole sphere to a large degree, but like much less than the Bronze Age pervert having any take on this issue influencing anyone. What's going on is all of the girls are coming out and saying, "Oh my God, they fucking raped those Israeli bitches." Like rape is fucking awful. And all the guys are like, yeah, babe, like rape sucks, man. Like you're so fucking bright. It's like an endless wave of
no, that is so accurate, bro. That is 100%. Every single girl with an opinion on Twitter is like, I don't support Hamas because they're raping Israeli women, and they keep posting those hot
like,
girls or
obviously,
whatever.
like I'm not coming out here and like endorsing.
No,
rape,
we're not endorsing rape, but it's like,
oh, it was awesome that they inserted like paratroopers into the rave and raped all of those Israeli bitches, right? That's not the stance here, but like.
No.
When literally every single girl on this side of Twitter is just coming out and saying like rape bad, and then you immediately see every guy coming out with it. And these aren't just like, these aren't just like normal guys. These are guys who like have been posting about like the benefits of like war brides and like a return to tradition and like rape, like bridal rape, like all of this shit literally for the last like 5 years of their lives. And then suddenly when every girl comes out and says, oh, rape is bad, and then all of them start going, well, you have beautiful tits, ma'am, and I totally agree with you. And it's just like, it's not, this isn't like the Bronze Age pervert. Like this is just like guys fucking girls.
Yeah, it's guys trying to get laid with the right politics, and girls being mad about
girls are just like getting scared about getting raped, right? Like girls getting scared about getting raped by a group of people who are 30,000 miles away. I find it. I do think that's a little silly, but I also kind of understand it because like you see these videos of these girls, and there is like a very distinct I'm sure you felt the same feeling. You watch the videos of the girls in these situations, and your first thought is like, wow, you can totally feel like, if you're to watch like one of those, like a dating podcast or any sort of like a Western social interaction, there's a sense of like the power dynamic, right? And each group has their own individual, like bastion of power, right? Like there's the masculine and the feminine, and like the men have obviously their masculine power in some way. The females have the feminine power. And then you watch these videos from the war shit and you realize, oh, like feminine power immediately goes to zero as soon as there's any sort of a physical conflict, right?
Oh, like exactly. Yeah.
Like they literally like I feel like being a girl and watching these videos is realizing like, holy shit, like I'm so fucked if this ever comes within like 1,000 miles of me. Like my life is literally over, man.
Well, that's the other thing though. That's what we've been saying this whole time. Like we're like, you guys are delusional. All this stuff is because we're in like a really like cushy society. Push comes to shove, you're an asset. Like you're a liability effectively. Like I don't know what you think of this feminine mystique is, like that you're this divine femininity shit that you're talking about. That's like fine and all good when everything's going well, but in the war, like it's funny because at the festival, it's almost talking about being like, oh, if the world ends, we already have our fucking survival plan down. I'm like, if the world ends, you're getting fucking taken by a warlord. Shut the fuck up. You don't know anything, right? Like it's not like that. Right, we're in civilization right now, so there's more like a sense of security. But yeah, I do understand them seeing it and having like a existential moment of
like a weird lizard brain, like, oh my god, like we absolutely have to stop this somehow.
Yeah, so it does make sense to me, which is again why I'm not commenting on their replies, because like, what good is it going to do? Like, what am I going to stop your existential crisis? Like, even though you're in a sphere that has been saying this for like 5 years too. That they're like,
that is the really weird thing, right? Like you come over to right-wing Twitter where it's like a bunch of guys basically like making jokes about like rape and war brides and all of this shit on a fairly regular daily basis. And then you do this and it's like, like I'm not saying that it's like a dumb stance to have, but I am saying that it's a peculiar place to have that stance for sure, right?
Yeah. It's like I can understand the dudes. Like, because like, all right, this is a real situation. You're like, all right, I'm not joking anymore. But it does seem very strange for the girls because ostensibly it's not much different. Like you're still like for that, I don't know. I feel like the girls, because they all play into it half the time, and then they see it and they're like, I don't know. I just feel like for the chicks, it's just strange. Kind of.
It's all very weird, yeah. And I'm sure also we're gonna see this weird thing where because I don't know, like what's going to be the American propaganda angle on this, right? Like, is the American media conglomerate, which side are they going to support? Because
so I thought they just do the standard Israel thing, like the boomers do. But like I was seeing some tweet today about like Harvard not pushing Israel support because Harvard has to do the woke stuff about being like pro decolonization. So they're like stuck.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because we're now at a point where you have like legitimate like a Jewish owned news outlets pushing pro-Palestinian propaganda, and you're like, what the?
Yeah, what do we do?
It's like the Spider-Man meme where you're just like confusedly pointing at each other.
Yeah,
Like what's fucking going on here, man?
because they have to, like, they can't make themselves, like, I imagine they just like slowly creep it further and further into Israel support. But like, everyone's pushing woke shit. So like the second you realize you're now being pro-colonialist, it won't work anymore. So I don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah, especially with like the existing rhetorical framework. Like now that we've let like American lefties run so far with this thing about like like the land only belongs to the indigenous peoples, right? It becomes very hard to defend the concept of a nation state that was like just sort of like
made
inserted there like 50 years ago, right? Like we don't exactly have the rhetorical framework to back that one up. We have to sort of just start making things up and like freeballing.
And it made more sense when they were just like pro like nation state, and it was very straightforward to be pro-Israel and that whole thing. But I guess now it's genuinely like, I am actually concerned, because I actually do feel like, also because you can't push like Israel and also be pushing Ukraine, right? Because you're pushing Ukraine, and that's the same thing, because Ukraine was formerly Russia, and they had they got their independence, and now Russia wants it back, and they want to support Ukraine. Everyone has the fucking flags for Ukraine, but now it's like, oh, you're gonna switch the Israel flag? That seems weird.
Dude, I love how both like the Israeli-Palestinian and like the Russo-Ukraine conflicts have like when you pick the sides that the American media conglomerate is going to want to take, they're going to be like totally incompatible. Like, you're going to have to do all of this bizarre like rhetorical witchcraft to try and justify how like it's fine in this situation, but it's bad in this situation for this reason.
And that is the only thing I find interesting about this right now, is watching the fucking cognitive dissonance play out with people.
Right, like just watching how the spin doctors are going to take it. I think that's probably going to be the most interesting.
Or just seeing accounts where I know how to Ukrainian flags have Israel flags now. I'm like, that's interesting. Let me read your tweets, because I don't know how the fuck you're going to pull this one off.
Yeah, and I think we unironically are like kind of approaching like actual World War shit, though. Like,
yeah, probably.
This escalated real fast, man. Like, we kind of went to bed being like, and when I say we went to bed, I'm saying everyone else in the world, the normal ones, went to bed. I stayed awake the whole time. But I was watching, and like all the news reports are coming out, and they basically go from like, oh, this big thing happened in Israel, to like, oh, like Israel is like laying siege to the Gaza Strip. Oh, like Hamas is like begging for a truce. Like, it's like, huh?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be
like, oh, Israel is like cutting off their water supply, and you're like,
yeah. The only thing is, I don't think it'll be world war, because Israel is such a superior military combatant comparatively.
Well, I think we're actually getting into a really tricky territory here, because like dealing with the political interplay between like the Russo-Ukraine stuff and the Israeli-Palestine conflict, like there's a lot of fucking crisscrossing lines going on now.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And, like both of these seem like they're things that are potentially just going to be like, like everybody at the beginning of the Russo-Ukraine thing was like, oh, we're just going to like finish this real quick, right? We're just going to shit stomp them. And then like, it's just a forever war, I guess now. Like it's like Afghanistan 2 or something. Like we just,
Yeah.
And like, do we really think that this is going to be any different with the Israeli-Palestinian
this is happening halfway because of the stuff we gave to Ukraine, and they gave it to Hamas. So, I mean, like, it could, I mean, there's enough lines crossed. If China decides to invade Taiwan while all this is happening, then that's World War III.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you going to do with that? We're very much so on the brink of it all, right?
Good thing I'm old enough that I don't get drafted. That's the only thing I care. And like, listen, y'all have fun with that.
I'm not super looking forward to maritime America, but
maritime America.
Things happen.
Yeah, I just imagine that. That's a good point. Yeah, I guess they could raise draft age or something, but hopefully Hopefully, I'm good. I think they typically keep it between 18 and 25, 18 and 30. What's draft age? I should look that up before I start talking.
Yeah, that would be super funny. The draft age is like 18 to like 68, and we all have to
It's
go
18 to
die
25,
for either
yeah.
Israel or Palestine, whichever the coin flip lands on.
So there is no upper limit for the draft, but they exhaust 18 to 25 first, and then it goes up. And then, but not since literally World War II have they cared about people up to 65, though. So we're probably fine, but we'll see. If not, that's when you got to start saying crazy shit. I got to start planning my speech for the when they're doing the testing.
Yeah, dude, I got my Jewish flat feet, bro. I can't be
flat
fucking
feet.
marching. I can't be marching out there, dude. I got my flat feet, man.
I hate the beeps. To do one of those. Hit them with also, I know I'm smart enough to probably fail the IQ test. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I could get a solid like 65 on the IQ test and get.
Imagine getting in. So I have a buddy actually.
Imagine if
he joined the reserve guard. Yeah. I think that's what it's called. I'm not a fucking military guy. But he is a relatively smart guy. He was going through basic training, and he was doing a rappelling course with a guy who literally got in on an ASVAB waiver. So the ASVAB is like the military intelligence test, basically.
Ooh.
So an ASVAB waiver is like, this is what happens when you have somebody who's so retarded that you fail the military's intelligence test. And then they give you a waiver basically saying it's okay that you're literally mentally retarded. We will still allow you into the army because we are that desperate for people, right?
Oh, shit. So
this guy was helping him rappel, and he fucked up tying the rope off and just dropped my friend like 20 feet, and he just like shattered his leg.
Holy shit.
And this was like his entire experience with the army was just being in the hospital because some retard dropped him off a building.
Oh, no. All right, so maybe it's a bad idea to try to fail the IQ test, because if they waive it and I'm fucking stuck to be cannon fodder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that is the thing. Like, you can fail it, but it guarantees that you're going to be placed in like the retard division, right? Whereas if you're smart, they try and like put the smart guys towards some sort of like officer position. So,
it's better to just try.
Yeah, you're unlikely to be shot in like officer training, but you're very likely to be shot. Maybe not even shot. Like I honestly, like I'm talking.
No, they put you in like
out of my ass.
They put you on like subs and shit.
Not even that you're gonna be shot, but you're not gonna have a fun time being in the retard division, right?
Yeah, no, I know for a fact. I mean, like I don't know for a fact, but I know like since it's fairly like you're not like doing specialized shit. You're doing like kind of like pragmatic stuff. So like I know people who like I guess like they have like 120 IQ. Like they're smart people there who got like nuclear, like they're dealing with like nuclear subs and shit. Like you end up on like, if you do pretty decent, you end up doing like drone piloting, nuclear engineering, like shit like that. So you're basically like not near combat whatsoever. You hang out on the submarine maybe.
And then there are some of the smart guys who are just fucking nuts. And they're like, they're like that fucking.
They're like, I want to go on the front lines. You're like, are you sure? Yes, put me there now.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, this is the thing. Like the special forces, because basically every other not battalion, what the fuck am I saying? Basically every other division in the army has been getting diversified, right? But the rate of diversity increase is really low in special forces. It's basically composed of a bunch of like high IQ, bloodlusting white men.
Yeah, hey, that's what we need them for.
Yeah, like that's like that's basically who's done like every major op for the last I don't know however fucking many years, and it seems that that's gonna keep being the case.
Fuck, I just lost it. I was like, you ever see that dude who's like, what's his name? Where they're like, I broke my toe. Good. Woke up. I woke up at 5 a.m. That guy.
The fucking David Goggins guy?
Yeah, not David Goggins, but the other guy who was like a former Navy SEAL, but same exact niche of people. He's like, he's also a Joe Rogan guy, and he's just like, every single morning at like 3:59, he takes a picture of his watch to show you like, I'm up in the morning, got to get at it. Good, anything bad happens, good. I grow from that. He's a fucking savage, but. Really smart dude.
Well, like Goggins has always been like hilarious to me, just for his philosophy of just like doing hard and damaging and traumatizing things for like no reason, right? Like,
yeah, just completely.
like for absolutely no reason. Like I ran on a broken leg and I like permanently destroyed my ankle. Like why? Because it fucking builds character. And you're like, I guess, but like, wait.
Like you could just not do that though. I mean, like I understand being fit, but also you're fucking.
I ran an ultra marathon. Well, I had a fucking hernia. Why? Like I didn't want to heal it. The pain's good.
The story where he like ran the 24-hour one. He like shot himself and he's running filled with shit. He's like, it's like, bro, relax, dude. It's not that serious. Oh man, dude, he's a fucking psycho.
I really do like the concept of just like I get this all the time from people who will say like, it's a lot of the like white identity guys who come out and they'll quote tweet me saying stuff like men should like be like, I want to die in a war or something like that. And it's like, you're not taking risks like your ancestors. And these are like the same guys who are like afraid to like post the N-word next to their real name. And it's like, dude, like
I don't think that's for you, bro. Oh, speaking of
man, like I don't think you're willing to die in combat. You're not even willing to like call black people mean words.
Thinking of high IQ combatants, that philosopher Wittgenstein, he did that. He's like super high IQ math guy, wrote the Tractatus, and like he like it was during World War II. He actually was in the same class as Hitler in second grade, funny enough. But he like asked to be on the front lines, and he like had like an existential crisis, and then like wrote like deep philosophy afterwards. He was like, "Oh, this is what he like had his like epiphanies about what's real and what's not real."
That's so funny
on the front line. But hey, some people are crazy like that.
Yeah, me and my friend group in college, we went through this bizarre phase where we were like, guys, like we should all enlist in the army and like be Rangers or something, and then like we talked to more guys who did it and we were like, oh, it sounds like actually you're still kind of a slave.
You're definitely still a slave, yeah. Though, I mean, like it does sound pretty cushy if you get like a really good job in it though.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded really cool in our heads. We were like, what we're going to like do is like, we're going to be like super smart and like tactical operators, like, and we're going to go to all these countries and they're going to pay us like a bunch of money to like overthrow like the Guatemalan regime. And it's just going to be like hanging out with the boys and it's going to be so fun and cool. Like, I'll see you guys there.
Mostly you're a fucking drone.
Then we like talked to the guys who did this and they were like, okay, so step one is they give you 38 vaccines day one. And we were like, oh.
No, actually, maybe we should chill on that.
Yeah, we were like, I'm fine with getting fucking shot at by lead bullets, but I don't want to be injected with anything, sir.
Yeah, dude, fuck that shit. But I do think that if they do enlist for World War III, we'll be fine. We'll get a cushy job. I'll work the drone. I feel like I'll be a good drone pilot.
Yeah, me like literally showing them like, guys, look, like I have all these.
You be in the propaganda.
I swear
you
to
be
God,
in the propaganda thing. I feel like the propaganda division. Or
absolutely. Yeah. I like this is definitely like if the army ever decides to conscript me and they use me for something other than like the PSYOPs department, it's like I have lost all faith in the fucking.
You didn't even do your research. It's like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, it's really like, okay, I don't believe in America at all anymore if you do this. Like imagine you get like somebody with like my psychometric profile and you're like, okay, like what we're gonna do with this guy is have him be like a Navy commander or something.
Like shut the fuck. I was like, what's wrong with you?
Like, oh, he's gonna be a foot soldier. He's gonna be a fucking like an Air Force chef. Like none of this shit makes any sense.
Yeah, don't know. I think we're probably fine, but it could be bad. I just need them to stop with the fucking. I just need prices. I need inflation to go down, and if war does that, that's it typically fixes.
No, I have really bad news for you, man. It's going to do the exact opposite.
Oh, is that how it works? Fuck.
Yeah, World War II cash lost 40% of its value over like 8 years.
Oh, god damn it!
Right. Yeah, like you do not want to be holding cash right now. You do not want to be holding risk assets right now.
What the fuck do you hold? Nothing.
Literally, commodities are the only thing. If we have an actual big ass war, commodities are the only thing that are not going to turbo fuck you. And they might buy
100,000 bales of wheat.
We will still manipulate the prices, right? Like America right now is not draining its oil reserves because we're keeping the prices down for us. We're doing it because we're keeping the prices down for Europe. Because after Russia stopped supplying them oil post Ukraine gate, like they don't have have oil, right? Like their energy prices are going fucking nuts.
Yeah. So what do I do? Like buy 100,000 bales of hay? Like what the fuck? Like what do you mean commodities?
Like gold, uranium, oil.
Oh yeah, precious metals. I forgot that counts too.
I probably am not going to be selling my house now that I think about it.
Yeah, probably not. It's probably, especially if they're going to do a war.
I'll just go landlord mode. That's going to be funny.
I guess I'll buy some more precious metals. I keep getting actually the
Did you see?
I bought some silver
as soon as
and
this
stuff.
shit happened, the gold spot price, it's just a vertical line.
Oh really? Oh,
Yeah.
I have some gold too. I bought a bunch of like, not a lot of it, but a bunch of precious metal shit during the when they tried to do that the supply shortage for the supply squeeze for silver, like in 2021. So I have gold.
Do you have like physical?
Physical gold and silver.
That's cool.
I wanted to get more, but
I'm making somebody a present. I made them.
Oh wow, it went up quite a lot actually. Gold.
Yeah, it went up quite a lot.
That's what I learned today. I didn't think we were going to have a informational podcast today.
Yeah, we're telling our investors, not our investors. Well, maybe investors. We're telling our listeners to go out and invest in
commodities,
things that may or may not be great ideas. By the way, I'm not a fucking financial advisor. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
I think though we're fine chilling gold. We can chill gold and silver. I think because I don't know. You don't get like cashbacks for that.
Wouldn't it be funny if you still get fucked like gold and silver somehow? Despite not being like unregistered securities or anything like that, like God,
you still get fucked.
The SEC has been very mean lately, is what I've been seeing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Everyone's being cringing. The entire world right now is being really mean. How about everyone like lighten up? You know?
Yeah, everybody just needs to fucking lighten up, bros.
Be a fucking bro, dude.
What if instead of doing World War III, we didn't do World War III?
It's really
what
that
if we
simple.
took all of that? What if we took one nuclear warhead, right, could fund this podcast for the next 2,800 years? Okay, just think about that.
That's actually probably true.
Would you rather end the state of Palestine instantly or have 2,800 years of the Vers and Lukas podcast? Right?
Leave a comment and tell us. Would you rather?
Yeah, leave a comment, guys. Make sure you discuss below if you have any other ideas.
That's how I can't wait to see the comments on that one. Please,
we're just gonna get like one guy saying like, I would pay $28 million for both of you to be blown up by an atomic warhead. You fucking losers.
Oh, I hope the intern doesn't clip that one, or maybe he does clip that one. Who knows?
I think saying I hope the intern doesn't clip that one guarantees he clips it, right?
Yeah, probably.
I'm not super in the guy's head, but I feel like
he's a little bit biased. That's all I'm going to say. He's a little bit biased in this conflict.
Absolutely. I guess he is. Which fucking A, man.
So we'll never know. We'll never know what he does.
That would be funny, actually. No, that's the one thing. We should take a really strong stance on this issue because of the intern. Right? Like,
good point.
I think that's the angle for us. Like because I was feeling entirely unmotivated about it, any sort of rhetoric that I was hearing from either of these people. Right? Like everyone keeps trying to do this, like you approach me with like a moral argument about this thing and say like, oh, this side is like monsters or whatever, and it's like my brain instantly goes to like, it's a war. Like everybody's gonna be like assholes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this isn't, I don't really have like a model of people as being like
nice during war, bro. It's like
or just like uniquely evil just on principle either, right? So I can't just like, oh yeah, we should just kill them because like that's not something that I'm inclined to think really. So
but now that we're invested in
what I can get behind though is we have this person who's tangentially related to us. He does some work on the podcast. And I would die for him consequently. Like I will go out on the timeline. I will completely destroy my reputation, shilling for one side of a geopolitical conflict, even World War III inducing geopolitical conflict, because our podcast clipping intern told me that it would make him feel good and make his family safer.
I think that's good. I think that if anything, that's like the more moral position. You know,
Like this is
like,
actually my
fear of
closest
influence
tie to the issue is the podcast intern.
And if he's happy, we're happy. So,
well, I mean, the other thing is if he dies, our podcast dies, right?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Like, we have no growth. We have no. We're over. So we kind of have to protect him, right? Like our livelihoods now depend on, holy shit, dude!
We've been tied.
Oh my god, I care so much now.
Vers and Lukas podcast is being funded by Hamas.
The Vers and Lukas podcast. We are here. We are here for episode 56, and we would like to tell you about the atrocities committed by Great Satan Israel.
By the big Great Satan Israel.
Yeah, the absolute Great Satan.
Ignore everything that we said earlier. No, Satan is actually the problem. I'm sorry, Satan is the problem, and also thy name is Israel.
How fucking funny would it be if I did all of this, like, like pretending I'm doing like Birthright, taking my trip to Israel, like tweeting like 87 times about how I'm a Jew, and then I just like change my profile picture to like the Palestinian flag, and like just start posting like pro Hamas sentiment. And,
you should post your milady profile picture titled with the blood splatter with like a faded out picture of the Palestinian flag.
Yeah, like I should literally do like the thing that libs do, where like whenever there's like a new current event, they like add the flags to their name. Like I should just put like Ukrainian, or not fucking Ukraine. I'm spacing. The Palestinian flags on everything. Like every I should make it like an OG classic like text signature. Like every tweet that I send, it ends with like hyphen Lucas and then 3 Palestinian flags.
That is powerful. I like that bit. Maybe we start making the podcast Twitter start doing that. Just like that's a new way to start controversy. Every single post has the Palestinian flag, and we get all the pro-Israeli people.
It's funny because like he could do that without like like I mean if he were to go out and just start posting everything with like the Palestinian flag at the end of it, like I wouldn't care enough to go like delete his posts.
Oh yeah, no, I'd be into it.
I would be like, this is kind of funny, right? Like,
it would absolutely
like you give somebody log on to your account, and then they just they start using it to do like weird like political propaganda for things while like promoting your. It's like, at what point do you care? Like we're not like paying him. Like this can be his payment.
Yeah, we're not paying him, and anything that starts more engagement is still him doing his job. If you ask me.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, he had a good idea yesterday too. Did you read that?
I couldn't read words yesterday, so I didn't actually get it.
Okay, so basically he wants to do like a follower lottery where he creates a website where every week all these people sign up, right? Mm-hmm. And it shows you how many people are signed up. And what happens is every week, one of the followers randomly gets everyone who clicked sign up following them.
Ooh, that's fun.
Right. So you click the button and you win a chance at like 1,700 followers or something like that.
How do we get that to do it though? Is there like a bot?
I assume we just make the website.
Oh, but do they? I guess they would have to sign over.
I think it's just going to be one of those things where we like give them Twitter permissions for this.
Yeah,
like fuck, this was so funny. So you know how there's that Friend Tech clone that came out?
On AVAX.
Yeah, it was called like Stars Arena or something like that. So everybody was shilling this to me, and they finally got me to make an account on that literally 8 hours before the entire thing got hacked and drained of all of its funding.
Oh, we got hacked?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cringe. That's so cringe.
Yeah, so I think they ran off with like 1,500 of my dollars or something.
Ooh, that's a lot more money than I thought.
It's all good. It was all fees.
Okay, that's fine.
I was just sitting there like, and there was actually some that I took off too. I took off most of it, but like, I made the fees that first day, and I was what happened? So they had the first mention of the hack, and I was like, oh, I should try and like take my funds off. So I did, and then it didn't let me, and so I kept decreasing the amount that I was taking off, and it let me take off some amount, and then I kept trying like smaller and smaller amounts, and I eventually realized, oh, well, it looks like that's about all I got. And then the next morning I tried to log on and I couldn't like even get into the app. So I was like,
oh,
oops.
Interesting.
I felt bad also because I posted that one in my Telegram, and I mean, I said also like if you have a big account, you should make this and go like slurp off the fees. Like I
Were the
didn't tell
fees
anyone to
good?
put money in.
I guess it was a
Uh,
good. It was I guess it must have been good then, fees wise, like activity wise, at least if you're getting that much
oh
fees.
yeah, I made thousands of dollars within the first like 8 hours just making the account. It was
Really?
pretty good.
Mm.
The only thing is like, so they had like the private group element of Friend Tech where you have like a
Uh-huh.
private chat where everyone talks, but then they also had like a timeline where you could like tip people on the timeline,
Oh, okay.
and
That's nice.
it's like it was just a bit much, you know, like.
Mhm.
There is too much going on. You have a social media platform with like 1,500 users, and like like having a timeline is kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, at least a little bit of money was made.
Yeah, I mean it's weird with all this stuff too because you now have like how many different outlets are we splitting content across, right? Like we have the podcast, we have the Substack, we have Twitter, we have the Telegram, we have Discord, we have Friend Tech, we have like so at some point it's like, okay, hold the fuck on, man. Like this doesn't make any sense. Like I should really just be putting it all in one basket or figuring out what that basket is, or but like none of these things are really like a complete enough package that I really want to go all in with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like kind of the what's the word? Like the tipping point or like the shelling point, I guess, for all this stuff is like there's only so much you could diversify and split it up. And other than it just being like a fun, like I would never ever have considered putting content on Friend Tech or any of this other stuff just because it's like too much of a hassle. I only have but so many hours in the day, and I can't even devote all my time to making content anyway because I also have like an actual job, right? So it's like,
Yeah, at some point it just becomes like reducing the friction in your cross posting process, right? Like every time you have it's getting like really retarded now. Anytime I have like a moderately interesting thought, it's like, okay, how do I tweet this? How do I TikTok this? How do I YouTube this? How do we put this on the podcast? Write it down for the notes, put it in the Discord, put it in the Telegram, but it gets some.
oof.
And it's like at some point, I think you just hire a VA and you give him a flow chart and say, like, I'm going to send you like a video clip and just fucking do this stuff every time.
Well, that's what they do. That's what all the big accounts, like not even just like like big YouTubers, most of them just have dedicated teams of people. Like this is like the Gary V method where he walks around, talks with a guy with a camera, talks into the camera, and he has a
And then
flow
they
chart.
do it all.
And they know like put a clip this long on YouTube, put a clip this long on this. Da, da, da. And
Yeah, the only thing that I'm running into is that like I'm very autistic about the specific timing, like the specific keyframes that you insert images into videos and stuff like that. So like I can delegate this, but I will see a product that is like 80% of what I want. And I'll be
Mhm.
like, fuck it, no. And I like go like autist perfectionist mode, but it's like this is not how, like this is the specific thing that prevents like every perfectionist retard from scaling anything that they do in their lives, right?
Yeah, you can't be a perfectionist and also scale. I mean, like after you have the audience, you can author like good graces
Yeah, you
or
have
like
to just be like, okay, this is fucking good enough. Send it.
exactly, yeah.
And you're like
And
way better at this than I am. Like your point that you exit any given endeavor as like a stopping problem is
mhm.
like it makes much more sense than mine.
That's
Right.
where the ADHD is helpful because I just find the final like 5% so unbearable that I'd rather just like it's fucking over now. I did most of it. This is good enough.
Just get distracted.
No one's gonna know the difference between like because the thing is also no one knows the difference other than you after that point anyway. Once
That
that
is the big
balance is
thing that I
tipped,
keep realizing, especially with content, is like I'll point out like the subtle nuances between like my post final and my final draft, and people will just be like, "You're a fucking retard. They're the same picture," and
the
I'll be
same, but
like,
yeah, exactly.
"Yeah," and
And
I'm
it's
like,
like it
"Oh,
matters to
okay."
you because like it's a form of expression.
Yeah, like
But
I'm not gonna
like
be sitting there like explaining to them like, "Oh, like no, like actually," and if I do, they like understand why it's significant to me. But like, if they don't see it, then like who fucking cares,
and you also
right?
got to consider like the average person viewing your content probably doesn't even get that far into it. The average person viewing your content has like 50% of their attention on it. So having that much nuance is only for like
Yeah, it's like weird and embarrassing of me to care about it.
uh, I mean, it's good. Like, it makes a difference. Ultimately,
You're
like
coping
that
for me.
No, I think I mean, like your success proves that it does make a difference to some degree, right? Your consistent post success. However, most of the time it probably doesn't matter, but when it matters, it probably extra matters. You know?
Yeah.
It's like I feel like that's what art in general, like writing or otherwise, or film or blah blah blah. Those the quote unquote auteurs who put a lot of detail into their shit, it ends up doing better once it hits. But most of the time, the fucking idiot who put something together in 5 minutes does just as well, if not better. So it's a trade off.
Yeah. I think it also is a little bit of thing of finding like the people who are like the intern is actually competent, right?
Yeah.
And like he's somebody who if I wanted to spend like 45 minutes, I could train him up on how to use a more complex video editing software and teach him like macros and specifically like why I would do an edit at X, Y, or Z point over something. And like he would be able to like disagree with me on stuff now, right? Like he basically has a better understanding of like short form video content than I do. So I am fully willing to just like, fucking take it, send it, right? When it comes to like copywriting, I'm really anal. This is my biggest problem is I need somebody who I can offload the copywriting to, but like every time I deal with anybody else's copy, I'm like, dude.
Yeah, but yours is better. You would have to find someone the hidden gem for the writing. But if they, especially in this medium though, with Twitter or something like that, they're already big enough probably on their own.
I know, that's exactly the thing is like I'm really like it's a bizarre pickle because the copywriting for most of the stuff that I do at this point actually is it is like a fairly substantial impact to the overall like value add of the proposition. Like if I'm pitching stuff to people, the copy is the pitch, right?
Yeah.
like it is a little bit important. And so I can't just like totally disengage myself from it, but it's just like time that I don't want to be spending on that, right? Like I have other things that I want to be managing. I'm understanding very much the dilemma that Charlie goes through on a daily basis where he's like, and this was always like a sort of weird thing with Amelia where like he did a lot of things that were like not CEO duties, just because he couldn't find somebody else that was going to like do them to the quality level that he wanted.
Like, what do you mean in this? What do you mean in his case?
Like a good example would be like the copy or like doing graphic design stuff or like he's done work on like the contracts, right? Like he helped launch the original Milady contract.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's a startup thing, I guess. I mean, any initial the initial, I don't know. I mean, like it's startup vibes, I guess, but also like, you'll see this with like Elon too. Allegedly, I don't know if he still does this, but I remember watching videos of him being like, oh yeah, like the way I kind of run this company is like it's mostly handled by everybody else. But if there's a problem or something specific that I want my hand in, I just like start doing that, whether it's the engineering or this or that. Like that's what I'm doing now. Like this week is I'm handling the design of this. Next week is I'm in the boardroom. Like he's just like, this is, I feel like that's like a very functional, like a way to be in charge.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is something that a lot of startups do too. And like, because it's very, like it's embarrassing to be the CEO of a company and doing some tasks if they're low level enough. So there's a lot of times where like something like this will happen and they will have the CEO, he'll make like 3 or 4 different email accounts or he'll change his signature or something like that. So that instead of being like the CEO replying to like a logistics dispute, he'll pretend to be like an operations middle manager or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Just because he doesn't like it's like it shows that you don't have a lot of people. You're a very small company if you have the CEO doing that shit.
That's actually pretty smart. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I think it's
when he gets older, he won't sound like this anymore, right?